Right, Monday, June the 8th, 2020, and I'm up in the Hertfordshire village of Sandon, which is near Baldock. First recorded walk of the, well, it's hardly a new season, but post-interruption of 11 weeks, and I've decided to do a local afternoon walk that I'm going to record just to get us back into the swing of things. I hope everybody's okay, all still with me. That's the main thing. I'm still here, just about, having had a number of attempts to kill myself in ways other than COVID, coming off my bike being one of them. But there you go. So as I say, I'm about to do 7 miles this afternoon of a relatively local walk. It's one of the North Herts Ramblers e-walks, this one being their Sandon Circular. So got about 3 hours earmarked for this one. Just starting off gently again because I've done nothing over 7 miles since the lockdown. Fingers crossed the lockdown will be ending shortly and we'll be able to get back into gear. To be quite honest though, I'm not particularly enamoured with travelling on the trains at the moment, so let's see what develops. Grey old day. We've had a cracking lockdown weather-wise, can't complain about that. Every single day in May was delightful walking weather, but unfortunately not appropriate for filming because I was doing very local walks back then, i.e. once a day, 1 hour and all that kind of rigmarole. So it's good that we can travel again now anyway. Missed most of the spring, my favourite time of the year, and indeed it's only 2 weeks to go now till the longest day, which is depressing. Anyway, like I say, we're all here, that's the main thing, so let's press on. I've decided to do this walk in a clockwise direction because obviously with a GPX, which is what I'm using today, you can do it any way you like, usually. Nebworth one last month. The last walk in Nebworth was a bit of an exception because the GPX didn't seem to reflect the anti-clockwise direction that I did the walk in. But there you go. So doing it in an doing this in a clockwise direction takes me past the village church here, name of which I don't know yet. Nothing in the lich gate to tell me either. Decent enough place though. Jackdaws omnipresent. Talking of birds, I would have missed my usual commentary about the swallows and swifts and martins arriving. I think in Nebworth I did see some swallows, but a lot of them were killed off in Greece by strong winds, I heard. It is All Saints, I just found from the storm porch there. Clearly been extended at the back here. You'll have noticed on the village sign, seems this village was founded in 1086. Church from a final angle, as I now try to find the footpath. Let's make this the final view of the church, because I don't know how much more scenery there'll be on this walk. Not a great deal, I don't think. But in any case, I am on the path. So I've been reliably informed by a local. It goes out the back here. And what a wonderful little path it is. It's delightful to be away from my local walks. Getting a bit bored with them, to be honest with you. Good to hear the omnipresent, as I always say, chiff-chaff. Now unfortunately, in my absence, almost 3 months. Can't believe that, it's outrageous. I've never been so absent apart from when I had my hip done. But there you go. I think this COVID situation's been very poorly managed, I will add that. But as I was saying about my local paths, the problem was they were absolutely chocker. People everywhere, which is very annoying, as you probably appreciate from me. So as you can see there, we've just left the Icknield way, which goes right past my doorstep back home, and the Hertfordshire way. And just about make out the village name here, Sandon. So we've hit this lane, do a right here, this direction, and I noticed from the map that we've got 153 metre spot height round about here. So that'll give you an idea of the massive altitude we're stood at. Another thing that I've missed recording anyway is the cow parsley turning over from the verges, been and gone. And we're very lucky here that we've got any verges at all, because Hertfordshire County Council are notorious for lopping it down. Wild rose here, or dog rose, I can't remember the difference, but this has got a lovely pinkish flower on it. I can hear skylarks above as well, and that's another thing about the lockdown. No jet noise or pollution up there at the minute. Bird song's been amazing, but it does highlight how few varieties of birds we now have. It's really, really sad. And look at the skies. Very, very few martins, swifts or swallows around at the moment. Possibly mainly because of the damage caused on the Greek islands by the wind, but more likely just a sign of the times. They've got nowhere to nest. Continue left here at this corner, or on the road, not following one of the obvious paths off it. There's the old elderflower, another plant that's not getting picked locally down my way. They use it at ransoms to make herbals, and likewise the lavender's not getting picked. I've got a lavender farm down near me, usually open to visitors to pick their own. Not this year. So just like the fruit and veg, which we still don't know if that's getting picked or not. Not sure what happened to the government scheme there, but very, very strange times. So after a relatively tranquil section of road walking there, not sure what it'd be like in non-COVID conditions, but relatively quiet at the moment. Field of hay just been cut there. We now branch off, do a right here, following public byway 18. So this could be heavily rutted and wet in the winter, I'd imagine. Not so at the moment, because water is one thing we definitely need. After that warmest May, or driest May, I can't remember which way round it was on record, we now need water incredibly after the wet winter we had. Do believe we're still on the Hertfordshire way. Looking ahead there, I believe that TV mast is at Thairfield, T-H-E-R field, and is the highest point in this area, hence the mast. Sandon's pretty high for this area actually, at 153 or thereabouts. Pleasantly milder now. Continue straight ahead on the byway here. That I believe is a black cap, maybe a white throat though. I often get those two mixed up. We get both in these hawthorn bushes around this area. Pair of buzzards there. Can't quite get them into focus. Not sure which village that is over there, with its very pleasantly positioned church. Obviously I still don't have a new handycam. Mainly reason being is that it's still not available, the one I want. Bad news. So I'm still relying on my trusty old Panasonic for the time being. You may be able to hear those skylarks in the background. Possibly not because of the tractor noise. Take a right here towards where the buzzards were, the woodland. Interesting shooting box there next to the rubbish pit. And I do recognise elements of this walk now. I'm doing the reverse of what I did with the Ramblers at Christmas time, last Christmas, funny enough. Very pleasant mixed wood on my right, and again, because it's a lot quieter than normal, the bird song's terrific. Song thrush somewhere in the background. The very loud shrill there of the wren. Very powerful song for such a small bird. And I think that was the blackcap. Northern nightingale. Yep, which makes the other one a whitethroat. Lovely. So good to be back out on these walks, albeit this is relatively short. Now following this path or track, which is known on the map as Notley Lane. And of course we missed the bluebell season. There are remnants of said flower over there, but I saw glorious crops of it in my locality on my local walks. What a shame. Spring 2020 gone. My favourite season. Yeah, terrible. At least when I had the hip done, I don't recall missing the spring, because I think I was walking again back in the May. So I think that might be a first during the last 12 years or so. This is a wonderful greenway, tree tunnel as I call it. Would be very nice on a hot summer's day, like of the kind we got last month. A rather large bird of prey there, which I can't identify. Possibly a buzzard, don't know. Unlike them to sit on a post like that. If anyone's got any ideas. Can't get any closer, I'm at maximum range, as you can tell by the shaking. Four and a quarter to Buntingford here. So at this junction we do a right, keeping with the Hertfordshire way I believe, and the Icknield. At this point the GPX takes us along the field edge there, following the road, but in fact the correct route, as far as I can see, is across this field as indicated. Possibly the walk was done in on a muddy day and they didn't fancy walking the field. But as you can see, completely contrary to muddy days, the ground is absolutely cracking up and crying out for water, which, as I say, is absolutely unbelievable considering the winter we had. Just goes to show how many people are drinking water, etc., etc., using the water. There's too many people in this country, full stop. On the planet, per Chris Packham, 8 billion. Ridiculous. Reminds me, Newmarket's not too far distant. Cambridgeshire. Crossing another patch of lovely wild overgrowth. Lovely little blue flowers. I think they're forget-me-nots, I don't know. Sure somebody can tell me. Very pleasant, where is it? Yellow flower there. There, like a mini cow parsley. Next to these buttercups. The very rare pasque flower, which is the flower, the county flower of Hertfordshire and Cambridgeshire, grows on Royston Heath, which isn't far from here, so I dare say it can be found nearby as well. I wonder if that's the maiden croft down near me in Gosmore Garden Centre, or was, not sure it's still there. Another pond area over there that's dried up. Coming into the thatched area around Calshore, etc. Although this is known as, this is Green End on the map. Just stood with Beckfield Farm behind me, and it's now turned into a very pleasant afternoon actually. This certainly wasn't forecast. Grey and cloudy, but this might be my 5 minutes, I don't know. And of course, we missed the cuckoo this year, although I personally did hear it once up near me, but that's a very poor return. Wonder how many others heard it. That's Beckfield Farm on the map, which is a pig farm, I now know. The reason I know that is because there's a sign at the entrance saying high health pigs do not enter. So perhaps they're suspect of COVID as well. Anyway, my path wasn't blocked. Onward journey ahead. Can't read any of this information panel, but I believe my onward journey is now across this kind of mini nature reserve. There's my favourite crop there on the left, my favourite cereal anyway, oats. Good to see that growing in abundance. Another pair of buzzards. I think the young are around at the minute. Maybe they're coming out on their first flights. I'm not sure. Would tie in though. A shooting position of a different type here. Good to see that this ash tree is in good health by the looks of it. And I think that's something else. When I last walked, towards the end of March, none of the leaves were out. So a hell of a lot's happened. Such a shame really. Anyway, as I say, main thing is touch wood, we're all here. Lovely spread of oxides there, I do believe. often get oxeyes and chamomile mixed up, but they're daisies, I believe. Taller. Lovely to see. Oxeyes bordering these fields. Classic Hertfordshire scenery otherwise though. Big wheat fields. This is spring wheat, growing up at a rate of knots. I think it should be all sown in the spring, as I said previously. It's better for wildlife. Yellowhammer there. See them quite frequently around this area, and my own. Giving off his warning note. He was singing, there he goes. Was singing a moment ago. A little bit of bread and no cheese. We do get corn buntings down my way as well. The two often are found together. Looks like we've hit an old orchard here, of which type I'm not sure. Maybe plums, I don't know. But yeah, that picnic table is very appealing, because I was choosing this point around the halfway position to have a little break, so I might well do. So a very pleasant couple of minutes listening to the chiff-chaffs and the song thrush. And these trees are in fact apples. There's little apples growing on them. So as I've said on my previous walks, we really do need to get our orchards back. They are fantastic sources of refuge for wildlife. Brilliant. Very good. What looks like a new kissing gate here. And this is the first one of its kind that I've seen with a padlock on it, which is ominous. Quite a hefty padlock there. I guess that would be for situations like foot and mouth. Don't know, but I don't like the look of that. Otherwise, that's an exceptional, get my words out, gate. Wonderful. Look at the room there for your day sack. Brilliant. Now entering the hamlet of Redhill, as once again the skies have gone back to their cloudy grey. Still hasn't rained. Once again more pleasant thatched cottages. Just leaving Redhill and we're back on the Hertfordshire way again. Pretty decent
Total
view across the plain.
5 miles. Total time 2 hours and 5 minutes. Split pace 20 minutes 47 seconds per mile.
Excuse the interruption there. This is the village green at Row Green, which is another walk I've got penciled in for the future. Another Ramblers one. Do that within the next few weeks, I think. Now this is how verges should be left, and village greens. Not the way they do it in our town. Cut it down to the bare bone, like this all over the place, so it goes brown. But look at that, wonderful. Buttercups, everything in it. Wonderful. Walking through a section of paddocks here. No horses around presently, but that's what I'm going through. Looks like they offer a bit of glamping as well. Loving all this long grass and wildflower meadow. That looks like All Saints ahead of me there. Nice thatch there as we enter Sandon. So here, finally hidden amongst the undergrowth, is our probably final leg now as we take a left on that two-planked bridge across the dyke, leaving this big field of barley behind us. Very pleasant evening now, sun's out. Turned out alright in the end. Interesting travellers caravan over there in the corner of that sheep field. The GPX file tells you to, or indicates that you should take the path up the side of the field. That brings you onto a road. There's about 300 metres of walking on that road. You'd be far better off taking the path through the sheep field, which brings you out to a much safer position. I.e. here, very little road walking here. So here we are, 6.8 miles, 2 hours 45 later, and back at base. That was a very pleasant return to walking for a local walk. So very nice to get back out into an area that isn't on my doorstep. So yeah, great. So nice and tranquil as well, without all the jets, etc, etc around about. So as I say, that was just around about 7 miles. That's quite what's the word, testing, because although I've done plenty of walking locally and some cycling, it's not the same as carrying a day sack on your back and getting out there and doing the real McCoy. So I'm going to have to build up again. Be a long time, I think, before I get up to 16 miles. In any case, got the daylight against us again soon. But the first step is the first step of the 1,000-mile journey, eh? So, Ramblers Walk Sandon Circular completed.